There is a difference between pop-ups, pop flies, and fly balls. Pop-ups are balls that are hit that stay in the infield, predominantly caught by infielders. There are fly balls, and those are balls that are batted that go into the outfield that are mainly going to be caught by outfielders. But then there's pop flies. Those are those in between ones that don't quite make it into the outfield, but maybe don't stay in the infield. Who knows who's going to catch those ones? This is a good drill. It's a bit of a communication fly ball drill. Maybe this is a little bit more advanced. Maybe it's not for the little ones, but maybe there's a way that you can kind of imagine or consider that this could be for younger kids in terms of communication. You have a bucket and a bucket. You have one group of kids on this side, one group of kids on that side. I have placed one of my hexagon shapes in the middle. Maybe you have one of those, or maybe you just have a cone. It can be anything, just not something that they're going to trip over, that you put in the middle, and that's for you primarily. That's your marker on where you're trying to aim, and you're trying to hit the ball, throw the ball, fungo, tennis ball with the tennis racket. Now, the idea of this is they're working on a couple different things. They're working on going to a ball that's in between two players, and we don't know who's going to catch it, so somebody has to make a call in order to catch the baseball. The other kid has to peel around the back to back him up or her up. Running after fly balls is going to be a little bit more challenging when they're running a little harder, because they're going to start pounding on their feet, their eyes are going to start shaking, the ball's going to start shaking. So in this drill, and in any fly ball drill that you're doing, really, you have to encourage the kids on approach of the ball to when they're trying to make that catch. They have to soften up on their feet so that everything isn't rattling around. And especially on a drill like this, they have to learn how to communicate with each other. Kids are going to feel a lot better on the baseball field if they have the confidence to know what they're doing, when to do it, how to do it. So come up with something for your team that they're going to say on a fly ball. Generally, it's usually the kid wants to catch the ball, so they say something like mine, or I got it, or ball. Generally, the other kid that isn't catching the ball tends to say nothing, or they can respond by saying something that doesn't sound the same. So if the player who's getting the ball is saying ball, the other player can maybe say you. So you'll hear from the kid catching the ball, ball, and the other kid says you. Or one kid says, I got it. A lot of times people will say, you take it. I don't like that much because it sounds almost kind of similar. But you can probably come up with something on your team that'll make your kids feel a little bit better about the whole thing. So for this drill, you got one group of kids on the one side, one group of kids on the other side, and all you're trying to do is serve balls up to them in the middle with enough hang time that not only can somebody get there to make a play, but they have enough time to communicate between the two of them to figure out who's going to get it. So let me explain a little bit what I mean, and let me show you a bit of a demonstration. You don't have to give them a verbal cue. You can just throw it, but this wouldn't be a good rep for them. No one's going to have time to get there. No one's going to have enough time to get there, and they're both going to run like crazy to try to catch the ball, and we're going to end up with a collision. This would be more of an appropriate rep where they're ready to go, they see you wind up, the toss goes up, and they have a lot of time for somebody to make a play. So what we want to do is we want to cue them up by watching our body move, and you want to give them a good high toss so that they have time to break from the bucket, ball, make the catch, go to the other side and put it in the bucket, or the other player has time to break, realize that their partner has made the call, and they peel around back to back up in case that ball is missed, in which case this player collects the ball and goes and puts it in that bucket. Whichever side they started on and they break in that direction, they then go to that other side and get a rep coming from that direction, going back to where they started. You can build complexity into this by having them start close, and now they're working on not only breaking right to left or left to right, but they're also breaking back. You can add complexity to this by having the buckets being very far back, and not only are they breaking left, right, right, left, but now they're breaking in. You can add complexity to this by having another player start here. So they're starting at a bit of a triangle shape. Now it's simulating those pop flies where two outfielders are kind of coming in and together, and one infielder is being forced to break back, and now your target is going to be a little bit closer right in the middle. That's pretty challenging because now we got the possibility of collision from three kids, and we got to be really, really sure that they understand they have to call the baseball. We can also add a little bit more fun and complexity and progression to it by getting rid of their gloves. They either got to use bare hands or one hand or the other hand. Maybe even they got to use their hat just because we want to have fun that day. So this is a drill that's going to work really, really well for them to learn how to call the ball, for them to learn how to run to a spot, to reach up and make that catch, to communicate. And it's also a drill that you can build a lot of complexity and progression into it.